But the mother says, let that curse be upon me. So he went and got them and brought them to his mother, and she prepared some tasty food just the way his father liked it. Then Rebekah took the best clothes of Esau, her older son, which she had in the house, and put them on her younger son, Jacob. She also covered his hands and the smooth part of his neck with goat skins. Then she handed her son Jacob the tasty food and the bread she had made. She went to his father and said, my father. Yes, my son, he answered. Who is it? Jacob said to his father, I am Esau. I'm sure he must have cleared his throat and tried to make his, you remember he's a houseboy. You know what I mean? He's a guy who loves dwelling in tents. I'm sure Esau probably had a more husky voice, like the evangelist voice, I am Esau. But this guy say, I am Esau, Your firstborn. I have done as you told me. Now look at this conversation. Please sit up and eat some of my game so that you may give me your blessing. Now Isaac asked his son, how did you find it so quickly, my son? Look at what he says. Guy is a real con man. The Lord your God gave me success. Con men amaze me. Then Isaac said to Jacob, come near so that I can touch you, my son, to know whether you really are my son Esau or not. Jacob went close to his father. Isaac who touched him and said, the voice is the voice of Jacob, but the hands are the hands of Esau. He did not recognize him, for his hands were hairy like those of his brother Esau. So he blessed him. Are you really my son Esau? He asked. I am. He replied. Now I want you just to pause there and just throw in something, especially because I know we have some of our young people there. Notice those words, powerful words. All right? Pay attention. He said, when this guy comes, Jacob comes to his father. The father, of course, he comes close to his father. His father can't see. Isaac is blind at this particular. So he can't see. He's depending on his touch and on what he hears. Are you with me? So he says, he feels like Esau. Probably later you will see, smells like Esau. Are you with me? He feels like Esau, but the voice is the voice of Jacob. Put it another way, he feels like Esau, smells like Esau, but his voice is the voice of a conman. You're not getting this. You need to get this. This is a revelation. Because for some of you who are young here, trusting God to get married, pay attention. He may look and feel right. He may look like the one. He smells right, dresses right, but his voice is the voice of the deceiver. In other words, do not be sold out by the BMW. Don't be sold out by the cologne. He may look right, but pay attention to the voice. Because Jesus said, my sheep. What is he, our bridegroom? What is he saying? Don't try to justify. I mean, all my life as a pastor, I sit with especially young ladies. I bleed for them. I can see they are going over a cliff with a certain brother. And I'll tell them, you will cry. But by that time, they say, he feels right, smells right, drives a Mercedes Benz. He's not boring like these church boys. Come on, can we talk young ladies in this place? The only problem is, his voice is the voice of the deceiver, the conniver, the con man. That one was for free. So the conversation goes on. So he went. Now, then he said, my son, bring me some of your gift so that I may give you my blessing. Remember, we were talking about the patriarchal blessing. Jacob brought it to him, and he ate and then he brought some wine and drank. Then his father said to him, come here, my son, and kiss me. So he went to him and kissed him. When Isaac caught the smell of his clothes, he blessed him and said, the smell of my son is like the smell of a field that the Lord has blessed. Now, in Isaac's mind, he is blessing Esau. Are you with me? However, pause there. By the way, this is a very complex story, because God had already declared, even before they came out of the womb, that the older will serve the younger. In other words, the blessing will be on the younger one. You remember he had already declared that? All right? The parents knew. Are you with me? But they were trying to untwist the arm of God. But can I tell you something? When God has determined it is you, even your own parents cannot stop it. The guy is blessing, he's proclaiming a blessing, thinking he's blessing Esau. But guess who's receiving the blessing? It's like somebody signing your promotion letter, thinking they were signing it, and they had somebody else in mind. Oh, Lord. Can I tell you what that is called? It is called favor. Favor is never fair. The first time I went, let me give you a story. The first time I went to Israel, I think that was in 2012, I believe. So we were in this group of pastors, and just a small group. It was just a small select group. So I had been invited to come into this group. And they wanted to do a very special trip just for these guys, pastors from all over the place and what have you. I was not the team leader, so I was just invited to just come and join this group. So they gave us the bill. They said, it's going to cost you 450,000 shillings for you to make this trip. I didn't have 450,000 shillings. So after a few weeks, I went and told the team leader, I said, I can't afford this trip. So please, just let me be. I mean, I can't, that's too much money. I couldn't afford it. I didn't have that kind of money. So the team leader says, no, you go. You're giving up too quickly. You go, and we'll see what the Lord will do. A few weeks later, I get a call from the secretary, and they say, by the way, Pastor, you don't have to pay anything anymore. I said, oh, why? So later when I asked the team leader, what happened? They said that, somebody, by the way, immediately after we talked, a few days later, somebody came to me, and they brought to me exactly the amount of money that you needed. And they said, Pastor, I don't know why I'm bringing you this, but I think it's for you, and you will know what to do with it. When they received it, when they counted, they realized it was exactly what I needed. And they say, in fact, the team leader just said, I knew that money, I didn't even touch it, I knew it was for you. To date, I don't know who paid for that trip. Now, but here's the gist of the story. So we go to Israel, and of course it was a very fancy trip, and were putting us up in 5-star hotels and everything. So I go there, but then I realize we get to Israel, you go to Jerusalem, all these fancy fancy hotels, and really nice, those things that you only see in movies. So, but every time we checked into a hotel, I noticed something was very interesting. I noticed everybody was on the same floor except me. Every time. And then I will be taken to the floor that is the highest somewhere. And then, so at first I didn't pay attention and what have you. Then, one of the times, one of the pastors who was in the trip came to my room. And he said, you have such a nice room. So I said, yours is not like this one. Because I assumed we were all the same. So I assumed all of us are the same. So you go to a hotel, you find all these nice fancy little things, fruit baskets and everything. And so so I wondered, what is, every time I go to a hotel, mine will be different. So I said, what is going on here? So then I discovered what happened later into the trip, just before we came back. I realized when the agent was doing the booking, they had, remember we all just a team of pastors and everything. When they got our names, they had, everybody was written Pastor so-and-so, Pastor so-and-so, Pastor so-and-so. When they came to my name, for whatever reason, I don't know, but they had written Reverend Jesse Mwai. So in the mind of the organizers, They must assume this is a real guy. This is a... Now, let me tell you something. Let me tell you this. Let me tell you. At that particular point, now hear me. At that particular point, it is not time to explain. They thought they were blessing Esau. When I discovered that, even there I walk changed. So, yeah. So now we go to a hotel. I will allow them to book everybody else. Because the real guy is here, man. You know. Let me tell you. Can I help a Kenyan here? That's not the time to start explaining that, I'm not, so and so. No. Just, it's not your mistake. You are not a liar. You haven't lied to anybody. Nobody asked you. They didn't ask me. They should have had better sense. They should have asked me. They didn't ask me anything. So I just said, you know what? Well, glory be to the Lord. Another time, by the way, so we go to Mombasa. It was, I think some of our pastors it was whatever in CITAM. So some of the senior pastors were going for a conference, I remember, down in Mombasa. So we get to Mombasa. So as we were checking in, so they come, we got there in the evening, all of us were actually on the same flight, so we took a flight, got there in the evening. So everybody was checked in. All right? You know the way, it's a group check-in and everything, so everybody has been checked in. Then I am left out. So then later, after everybody has gone, that's when they say, oh yeah, Pastor, now let's take you to a place. So I'm taken to a totally different side of the facility. I'm wondering, why was I separated? What did I do? Kumbe mine is a superior room. So I said, okay. So later, I discovered where the problem was. See, my father's name was Kamau. So when they did the booking, instead of using just Jesse Mwai, Reverend Jesse Mwai, they just said Reverend Jesse Kamau. So in the mind of the people, they assumed the moderator, the former moderator of PCA, is coming. Again, they should have asked me. Hey, I tell you, they thought they were blessing Esau. Whom they were blessing Jacob. Let me just give you this and then I'll be done. I'm not even halfway to this sermon, but because of time, let me just give you the 4 things that comprise the patriarchal blessing. Actually, 5 things that, that are components of this patriarchal blessing that I think is important for us to know. And just taken from this particular story, I'll just do a summary of this very, very quick. Number 1, the patriarchal blessing, by the way, number 1, is means that you and I as parents, whether mothers, whether fathers, we have a good responsibility and we have a good opportunity, first and foremost, to present God to our children. Are you with me? Children, young people, their first impressions of who God is comes not from the church, from their parents. Did you know that? It is your job. Now, how you present God will sometimes make or break your children's relationship with God. Now, sometimes we make mistakes as parents. Maybe in a moment of anger, frustration, maybe your child has misbehaved. Do you know sometimes what we do? Can I tell you? We misrepresent God. We misrepresent the things of God. I have heard sometimes of parents telling their children, because you have misbehaved, I will take you to pastor. Are you with me? So what are you doing? That child grows up knowing, begins associating pastor, begins associating the church with negativity. Are you with me? Sometimes, like in a church like this one, young people, sometimes they come and talk to us, but just so you know. Sometimes they say, oh, because I misbehaved this week, maybe you have a teenage son or a daughter, so you tell them, this Sunday you're not going to the epicenter, you're not going for your youth service, your teen service, you're coming to me in the main church. So they begin growing up knowing that the tabernacle is for bad people. Are you hearing what I'm saying? It's like for them to be punished, you bring them to the tabernacle. But when they are good, they go to the epicenter. My goodness. or some of the statements that we make, some of the things that we say, we should always present God as a loving father to our children.